Hello everybody and welcome to Parks Bros. It's Drew here, and today I'm doing my second episode ever of Ranked, Rated, and Reviewed for Waldameer in Erie, Pennsylvania. So Waldameer is a small family park as well as water park in Erie, Pennsylvania, which is in northwestern Pennsylvania, and it's probably as far northwest as you could go in the state itself. But I was able to visit this awesome little park on our Parks Bros road trip 2019 over to Cedar Point. And after 3 full days at Cedar Point, we decided, you know what, let's have a change of pace. Let's drive the 3 hours to this small park that has some pretty great rides that we'd heard. And we got to spend an amazing 4 hours or so there before traveling back to Cedar Point for that night. Now, in all honesty, looking back, I wish I got more time at this park. I absolutely adored it. It has a ridiculously classic amusement park feel to it, and it felt like I was being teleported back in time to the heyday of major fairs and olden pleasure parks. Now, this park is home to many flat rides, as well as even a dark ride or two, and a pretty big water park. Now, of course, in addition to that, there are 4 roller coasters for what this video is for. And I gotta say, out of the 4 coasters they have, there's nothing bad. All the rides were enjoyable, and I would actually argue that the park has one of the best coaster lineups for only having 4 coasters. But with that, I should explain the rules of Ranked, Rated, and Reviewed. I have 1 minute to review each ride, and I gotta give it a score out of 10 overall, as well as a ski slope rating to try and give you a better idea of how much experience riding coasters you should have before riding the coaster that I mentioned. But first up at number 4, we have Ravine Flyer III. That's right, there's technically been 3 coasters named Ravine Flyer throughout the entirety of the park's history. But this one is interesting because it's the only Ravine Flyer that's steel. This is an E&F Myler kiddie coaster, and it is quite enjoyable. I mean, it's just a kiddie coaster. It's nothing crazy, but it has a really nice area surrounding it, with it being completely over water, as well as a giant Ferris wheel behind it. And that pink color scheme is just really cool to have on a coaster. But it's a little janky, a little fun, and also you get to do it twice. And I would definitely say go back row if you can, because you'll get a little airtime there. But for my ski slope rating, I definitely would say be a beginner rider. This could be your first coaster ever, and it would be a perfect fit. And out of 10, I would give it a 5, and that's not a knock towards the ride at all. Now, moving on to our number 3 spot is a ride that actually surprised me quite a bit, and this is the smaller wooden coaster at the park, Comet. Now, this wooden coaster is a true family wooden coaster, and it features PTC trains with buzz bars, and if you don't know what those are, they're special restraints that we don't really see on many coasters past Mississippi on the West Coast, and the magical thing about them is that it doesn't feel like they're there. So on this small little family coaster, we were getting really great airtime, and the ride itself was quite smooth and really enjoyable. And I would say over my entire trip, this was one of the biggest surprises because I didn't even know it existed prior to going to the park. The only drawback to this ride, though, even though it was running 2 trains, was the fact that it was the longest wait in the park for us at around 20 minutes. But still, all in all, Comet is a great coaster to check out and is definitely the perfect step up from Ravine Flyer III, and you should definitely check it out on your trip to Waldameer. On a ski slope rating, I would probably give this a beginner score. So this could be your first coaster, but I would recommend it be your second coaster ever after Ravine Flyer III, just because it is a little more intense, a little taller, a little faster, and it does have the addition of some more extreme airtime. Not to say it's insane or anything, but out of 10, I would definitely give this ride a 7. Really enjoyed this small little wooden coaster. Now, moving on to number 2 at the park. This is Steel Dragon, a Maurer spinning coaster, and oh my gosh, I gotta say, I love these models of coaster. I rode my first at Lagoon. It's called the Spider. It's a little bigger there, but the Maurer spinning coasters are quickly becoming my favorite type of spinning coaster, with just the amount of spin as well as the type of layout it offers. There are lots of overbanking turns as well as quick drops, and this layout is one of the best parts of the ride, besides of course that spinning feature. Now, luckily enough, we were able to get right on this ride as it opened for the day, so we didn't have to wait long, but don't be surprised if this is the longest wait in the park later on in the day. But Steel Dragon was an absolute blast to ride, but I would definitely say it's a more intense ride than the others at the park due to the spinning factor as well as the bigger drops, higher speed, and what the elements offer. So I would definitely say be an intermediate rider on Steel Dragon. It shouldn't be your first coaster, but it can definitely be a great stepping stone for when you're ready to take on bigger and badder rides. Now, of course, at number 1, this is probably no surprise to anyone. This is Ravine Flyer II, the Gravity Group wooden coaster at the back of the park. That is a full terrain coaster, and it is absolutely amazing in every way. This is my second favorite wooden coaster overall. And if you would like me to do a full in-depth review, let me know, because I would absolutely love to do that. I could talk about this ride for 30 minutes, but I don't have that much time. I might actually already go over 1 minute with me just rambling right now. But Ravine Flyer II takes up the place of Ravine Flyer, the original from the 1920s, has one of the most amazing views at any park I have ever experienced. And this is just a view looking over Lake Erie itself. It is absolutely incredible in every way. And that's not even talking about the ride experience itself. Besides that, you have an amazing drop, some amazing airtime, even a triple down through tunnels, as well as awesome bank turns, and literally dropping off cliffs. It is an absolutely amazing ride. The only bad thing about it is if you are on the back half of a car, it will be a bumpier experience. So there was a couple rides where I ended up getting off with a headache just because it was a little rougher in some portions. But man, I am kicking myself for not staying longer and getting a night ride on this coaster, but hopefully I'll be back within the next couple of years to get as many rides as possible on this thing and even get a front row ride, which I sadly did not end up getting. Ravine Flyer 2 is something you cannot miss if you're in the area. So if you're visiting Cedar Point or Kennywood even, it's definitely worth the 3-hour drive to go to Waldameer and check out the rest of the park as well. But for a rating, I gotta say, be an experienced coaster rider before checking out Ravine Flyer 2. It is definitely the most intense ride at the park, as well as that roughness adds a little bit of intensity, and it is by far the tallest, fastest, and longest coaster in the park, with many airtime moments as well as some high intensity bank turns. And out of 10, I would give this ride a 9 as of now. But don't be surprised if I go back in a couple of years and end up giving this ride a 10. But yeah, I've definitely gone over that minute limit for Ravine Flyer 2, but that's just because I love the ride so much, as well as the park entirely. This park has a lot to offer and it shouldn't be overlooked. And honestly, if it was my regional park, I would go there almost every weekend. It's just a super enjoyable place to be. And believe it or not, it has my favorite drop tower, as well as one of my favorite flat rides entirely, and has a lot more to offer than just the 4 coasters. There's even some pretty interesting entertainment, a dark ride, a walkthrough, and an awesome gondola ride that goes over the entirety of the park. Man, talking about it this much is just making me want to go back ASAP. Maybe I'll be able to fit it into that 2021 trip I've been planning. But Waldameer ranked, rated, and reviewed is done. Tell me how you rank these coasters down in the comments below. I'm really interested to see your guys' thoughts. And also, let me know if you want to see a full Ravine Flyer 2 review, because I could do a full in-depth review that's at least a good 25 minutes long on that coaster. But I want to say thank you so much for watching. It means a heck of a lot. And if you like this content, make sure to subscribe, because we're going to have more videos like this, as well as updates for parks in Southern California and vlogs and reviews galore, as well as some really cool videos that are coming up very soon with awards that were chosen by you guys. But I do want to say thank you again so much for watching. But until next time, we'll see you on the next ride.